another live stream, and we're going to be talking about what's next for the AV world, whether it's going to be micro LED or quantum dot, OLED based technology and televisions. We're going to be talking about all that stuff. Now, before we dive into it, I want to say a huge thank you to all you guys who have stopped by this week and who have been watching the content and being a part of the channel. It's been absolutely fantastic to see, again, all of you guys show out. Now, what we're going to do is talk about micro LED versus OLED and also answer any weekly questions that you guys have. So, as I'm kind of just blabbering away here, if you guys have anything you want to ask, make sure you ask it in the comment section, and I will definitely be getting to you on that. So for starters, when we look at micro LED, it's important to understand that there's a couple different approaches they can take with implementing it. We can have micro LED in the form of just chip bonded, which is basically them bonding the micro LEDs to a chip, and then there's another more cost effective, I guess, or rather more costly method, which would be them actually going in and doing dual layers and putting an entire new panel together, like kind of like what we see with Hisense with their ULED line. So it really just depends on how they're going to go about it, but either way, it's exciting to figure out what the next direction is. Now, I personally, for everybody that's been wondering, when it comes to OLED, I think that Samsung might actually end up walking back their claims of going to QLED all the way and it being better than OLED, just simply off of seeing what's been going on with their LED line so far, and their QLED line even. It hasn't been great, and I've seen the scale backs continuously happen, so it makes me think that they definitely are on the cusps of creating some sort of OLED or something to that regard, especially when you look at the Galaxy phones continuously get better as far as the display. It kind of seems like this is the practice run, a really long practice run before Samsung releases an OLED. Of course, that could just be speculation, but I think as much. Now, I see Darius, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. And we've got A580, what's going on? How are you guys doing? If you guys have questions, make sure you leave them for me, and I'll be able to answer that for you. And for everybody coming on just now, welcome to the stream. We're just going to be talking about the future of OLED and all that stuff, and also the display technology in the AV world in general. So it'll definitely be a lot of fun to discuss that stuff with you guys. What's going on, Will Dillinger? I hope I said your name correctly. You said, I love the SOE on my Q9FN, but it creates some weird artifacts in panning or shaking shots. You said, any way to get the high SOE without that? And you said, currently at blur reduction 10, judder reduction 7. Blur reduction 10, judder reduction 7. I would do, okay, let's see. I'm trying to think without seeing it directly in front of me. So if this isn't an exact science, don't dock me for that. But I would try to switch it to blur reduction 5 and judder reduction 10. Or you can do blur reduction 3 and judder reduction 5. So you can try any of those values, and that might actually clean it up a lot, because sometimes what happens is you have way too much blur reduction on, and the problem is if you're using something like Digital Clean View will naturally tie its motion blurring to that noise reduction to smooth out any grain. And so you're adding extra motion blur on top of motion blur, so it might get a little weird. And then artifacting is just something that happens with Soap Opera Effect these days, especially because you're only at their AutoMotion Plus 240, so it's definitely not high on the refresh rate charts like, you know, the motion from Sony, which is like 960, X Reality 960 or something like that. Now, that being said, this might be able to help you out, but give it a try and let me know if you're able to do that while we're on the stream here. And we've got a comment coming in from Drifter. What's happening, man? You said, what's up, man? You said, love the channel. We've got Andrew. You said, what's good, y'all? What's going on? It's good to see you guys. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. In particular, one thing I did want to address before I go too far into the stream, we are going to be talking briefly about what I'm going to do as well for the channel. I know a lot of you guys have been curious about, like, when are we doing more reviews on different things. I've been getting questions about that, and, like, I did a poll recently for you guys asking like what kind of category you guys wanted to see with gaming and all that, and movie reviews and whatever. And so initially the gaming category ended up winning by a pretty substantial margin, so that's what we're going to end up implementing. So what I'll do is I'll just start testing out video games and things as they come out and as I pick them up, and talk about different various aspects. I've already got the first video actually right now in the editor. I gotta edit it together and finish piecing it together, but I'm already working on it as we speak. So, you know, for my my VIP members here, you guys already know what that's about. You guys got the exclusive first look, and we're gonna be doing a lot more as far as like branching out in different areas from just TVs, because I mean, let's be real here. I mean, TVs are pretty seasonal. Either there's something happening in the TV world or there's not. Whereas the gaming world or something else, I could probably help you in those areas as well. And I do get questions about computer monitors and like bias lighting strips and like how to clean your TV and like all this stuff. And so I'm going to try to start answering a lot more of the broader questions that I do receive, instead of the super duper technical or like, you know, just strictly television based stuff. So it'll be different, but I'll try to implement it in a way that kind of pleases everybody. As hard as that may be to do, I will do the best that I can. What's going on, Ron B? What's happening, man? Thanks for coming out tonight. We've got David Gonzalez. What's happening, man? You said, what up, QA, aka Mr. Keep It Real. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I do try to keep it real, and I am doing all right. I appreciate you stopping by as well. What's going on, Paul Gonzalez? Thanks for coming out tonight. You said, hi, Quantum. Best Buy has the Hisense H9F online. I am tempted to pull the trigger, or you said, I am tempted to, on pulling the plug, and buying the 65-inch for $899.99. Your thoughts? If you've got, like, the Hisense H9F, I mean, it's hard because I haven't seen it, you know what I mean? Like, that TV has pretty much been sold out where I'm at, so I couldn't even get my hands on it if I wanted to. And the other thing is, it's kind of hard because 65 inches are notorious for problems, particularly from budget brands. But even in general, 65 is a really hard size to get pretty uniform, so I can't really say if you're going to run into problems or not. So I couldn't tell you whether you pull the plug on something or whether you go through with it all the way. But if it were me personally, like from where I sit, I usually prefer a 55-inch screen because it has a tighter pixel density, just simply because the screen's smaller, the pixels therefore are tighter, and you get better resolution than, you know, something that's bigger, more expanded, things of that nature. So I hope that helped. What's going on, Andrew? You said, true, there's only so many TVs you can review because most people buy a TV once every 10 years. Exactly. And I think that's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was just talking about that with my wife this afternoon, just this very afternoon as we're going out, we were on a walk, and I was saying this. I'm always talking, you know, when I get off of work, I'm talking about the job, the day, how the day go, how'd your day go, kind of thing. And then I switch into YouTube. I'm like a YouTube maniac. My wife hates the word YouTube sometimes because I talk about it constantly. And that was one of the things I was talking about. And so, yeah, like seriously, there are only so many TVs that you can review in a year. And once you review all of them, then what, you know? And I feel like I can be helpful in other areas, especially since I am a lifelong gamer and I do have an expertise in that field as well. And I can, again, help guide you in different areas and just bring a realism and genuine nature to gaming that I think is needed, I think, personally. And it'll be fun to see how it goes, so I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting. And plus, I think some of you guys are some gamers as well, so it'd be pretty cool to like link up with you guys on PS4, hold a party one of these days, and just all us guys just have an Injustice match or a Mortal Kombat match or something like that. I'll probably get destroyed, but who knows? It'd be fun to just kind of mess around with you guys and just have fun. We do a lot of serious technical talking, but I want you guys to know that there's a person behind the screen, right? And so this is my way of trying to, I guess, branch out and connect with you guys and, like, you know, be more interactive and things like that. So hopefully it's going to be received well and we can, you know, build a positive community, because that's ultimately what I'm after, you know? Now, what's going on, David Gonzalez? What's happening, man? You said, QA, should I wait to buy a new TV on Black Friday, or should I wait till summer 2020? That's a good question. I mean, like, it depends on what you have that you're kind of looking forward to. Like, for example, like, it's rough. I'm looking more like, for most people, like, if it was like a general, like, what do I buy right now? I mean, maybe, like, something like if it went down in price around Black Friday to $12.99, the Vizio P Series Quantum X isn't a bad choice. It's not fantastic, but it's not bad. You could do something like, you know, maybe you decided to jump up and get an OLED, or you decided to not take that risk with burn-in and go for something else. This is just really a bad year because it's kind of like our backs are against the wall, and I don't have faith that 2020 would really do much different, because in 2018 we were kind of saying the same thing, like, 2019 they're definitely going to do something, and now here we are disappointed again. So I just kind of feel like it's not something to get excited about and get your hopes up for just yet. I think we'd have to wait until we see the first 12-bit panels on the market before we can really start getting excited for anything. And we've got Andrew. You said exactly, gaming is good, plus variety is good too. Yeah, man, and I appreciate your perspective on that as well. I mean, because when managing a channel, it's always difficult to try to find the happy medium between my personality and, you know, what you guys want to watch and what you guys want to participate in and things like that as well. And it's a group effort, you know, like we all make this channel work. So I definitely appreciate the feedback. Personally, I love gaming. I've always loved gaming. I mean, I'm on Injustice right now, live streaming for you guys, you know, so obviously I definitely really love what I do. But yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun to talk about stuff. I know a lot of you guys probably don't know this about me, but I'm like a super nerd, like a lifelong like WWE fan. And when those games come out, I'm that guy that'll spend $100 and buy the deluxe edition, even when the DLC sucks. I'm that guy. It's just happening. And so it'd be fun to just talk about various different things like Forza and all that other stuff. And, you know, because I find a lot of like little cheats and stuff. And like, for those that don't know it, I'm really good at creating things. Like, I don't know if I've mentioned that, but I create a lot of things in video games that I would like to share with you guys from time to time. What's going on, Paul Gonzalez? You said, thanks, appreciate your input. Most definitely, I'm glad to be of service, be able to help you out. What's going on, David? You said, I have a 2018 Vizio P Series Quantum, trying to get a TV with better gradients and HDMI 2.1. That kind of makes it rough. If you're waiting for HDMI 2.1, then you... Honestly, for that, I would say wait for Sony with HDMI 2.1, because yes, LG has smooth gradation, and you could technically do that right now. Like, you could go and buy yourself an LG OLED from 2019, like the C9, and you'd be good. You'd have what you want. You'd have the smooth gradations. You'd have the HDMI 2.1. Problem being, there's no guarantee that, you know, you're not going to run into similar situations like what I ran into with my C8, where I'm a week into just watching movies and basic usage of like literally TV shows without station logos, and I got burned in a week. Now, granted, I exchanged it out, but I always felt weird about it, and that's ultimately why I dumped it for the E8. But yeah, most definitely, dude, like, I think it would be good to wait for Sony, because when you're talking about smooth gradients, they are the best right now for that. Like, nobody's touching them in that area, so... you also said, that's why I'm thinking this Black Friday or summer 2020. Yeah, I mean, I would probably wait if you can. I mean, discipline is always a good thing to have. Unfortunately, I don't have a single disciplined bone in my body. I tend to pull the trigger on things just because I'd hate to be that guy, you know? Like, I'm always that guy. Like, when I say I'm going to be disciplined and I wait, I always end up eating it in the long run, because then it'll become discontinued, and the next year will be so much worse than the year I was just on. It was just like, ugh, I hate when that happens. I'm still very salty about the KS line. If I could do it all over again, I would have bought like a KS 9500 or a KS 9000, because I mean, really, it's just, those were some beautiful TVs that I know for a fact Samsung's just not ever going to make again. You're talking chrome, you're talking luminance logos on them. It's just such a premium TV. The back of the TV with that nice chrome strip, oh my gosh. And I missed my opportunity to get one of those bad boys. So yeah, I'm still salty about it. So that could happen to you too. So I don't know if, I don't want to be the guy to tell you to wait, and then you're waiting, and then TVs just get worse and worse, you know. So that's just kind of my thing there. What's going on? A580. I keep messing up your name here. You said, saw your input lag video. Would you be doing more tests? Yeah, I'm going to definitely be doing more tests. So as I start getting more televisions and getting more things in for review, I'm going to be starting to talk about more of the reality behind it, because I think the mainstream, and I know I say this a lot, but I really think the mainstream is doing you a disservice. As you guys saw in that input lag video, for those guys who watched it, you know, there's a big difference in the input lag perception. Like, you are not losing a whole lot of detail or responsiveness out of your image by using soap opera effect. That is just a myth. And, you know, I clearly show where soap opera effect has the advantage, you know, and that's why I use it. And it's hard because, you know, there are a lot of people that are taught to trust these mainstream reporters or these big names. And so what ends up happening is you're like, all right, I'm going to trust this guy. He's got a big subscriber base. Clearly, he knows what he's doing. You go and you watch his video, but then he has no idea what he's doing to a technical guy like myself who can prove this stuff doing a real test like I just did today, where it's like, look, guys, yeah, you can turn on soap opera effect in picture processing and actually get lower input lag than turning it off. But nobody on those bigger channels have ever told you that, and they've all had Leo Bodnar, you know, input lag testers. It's nothing fantastic. Like, this is some basic information, but they twist it. And that's the part that bugs me. So hopefully I'm going to be able to do a lot more to correct a lot of the misinformation you're getting, because advertisers are running rampant on YouTube. What's going on, David Gonzalez? You said, understood, bro. Thanks for keeping it real. Always, man. We don't like anybody who's fake and, you know, likes to play games, so I think it's really cool to just speak your mind, you know? So I definitely appreciate you appreciating honesty. What's going on, Jay Chavez? What's happening, man? You said, hey, Q, will you be having a new settings for the for the 1260 update? You said, I'm glad you're expanding into the gaming world. Keep up the great work and your honesty, bro. I appreciate that comment, man. Unfortunately, I won't be doing anything with the updates. I've heard literally nothing but bad news. I mean, guys, I saw so many comments, like, literally to the point where YouTube started holding my comments for review, because literally, like, that's how many people were telling me, like, they just did 1260, and 1260 neutered the black levels. They see clouding, they see blooming, the colors seem more faint than they ever were, like, and that scared the absolute hell out of me, because, like, I'm just getting, like, literally hundreds upon hundreds of these messages, and I'm like, oh my god, is it really this bad? So, you know, obviously I don't want anything to do with it. I haven't actually seen it myself, seen that update myself, but I tell you what, I'm not going to update my own personal Q8 to do that. Like, that definitely, I can't do that, but, yeah, I won't be doing that, but I'm glad that you are interested in me going into the gaming world, because it definitely is something that I've been planning on how to do for a while now, and it's going to be a lot of fun to jump into the technical side, but also have some fun. So I appreciate your feedback and all that. What's going on, Andrew? You said, I like the soap opera effect. It makes the shows and movies look more real to me. Yeah, you know, like, that's what I got when I was looking at soap opera effect, you know? Like, a lot of people kind of blow it out of proportion, and they're like, oh, it looks almost too real. It's like I'm there on set. And I always look at those people and I'm like, don't you want that? Don't you want to feel like you're inside of this fantasy world you just literally paid thousands of dollars to view on this nice TV? You know? But there's always that one guy that's like, I want everything realistic. If it's not realistic, I don't like it. You know, whatever. I'm not gonna play that game, you know? It's just one of those things that, c'est la vie, to each his own, I suppose. But I'm glad somebody else besides myself likes the soap opera effect. What's going on? What up, Techie? You said, love your videos. I have the Q8FN. What are your thoughts for PC gaming? I use 1440p at 120 hertz. Well, I appreciate you loving my videos and watching enough of them to love what I do, so thank you for that. And as far as the Q8FN, it's a great television. And you're saying, what are my settings for the PC gaming? I don't actually have settings for PC gaming yet, because I'm still working on finding a PC rig. I do plan on going PC this year, and I'll definitely be covering that whole journey. But right now, I'm just kind of like everybody else, just trying to find my perfect PC, I suppose. Now, as far as the settings, though, it wouldn't be much different from how I watch my normal TV. I would definitely be trying to lock in 1440 at 120 hertz or 1080 at, you know, a similar hertz or refresh rate. Like, I'm really not picky, because I've been a console gamer literally my entire life. So the idea of going to PC and having, you know, 70, 80 refresh rates, you know, or, you know, frames per second, it's just like, okay, why not? You know, because I'm only used to 30, you know what I mean? So anything will be an upgrade to me at this point. And I kind of feel like that's how, like, a lot of the guys that, like, hear me bashing all these TVs when they do something wrong feel. They're like, yeah, but I'm coming from this old experience where anything's an upgrade. You know, and then in that regard, I kind of understand where some of the guys are coming from, but I have to put this kind of information out there, you know, just to make everybody know what they're getting into, you know what I mean? Just to do my little due diligence part, I suppose. But yeah, no, definitely. I plan on going to PC, and I hopefully will be able to put out some settings once that does happen, because I do plan on using my QLED for that. What's going on, Matt George? Thanks for stopping by tonight. You said, overall, which do you prefer, your Q8 or your C8? Oh, we're asking good questions now. Do I prefer my Q8 or my C8? Okay, so as real as it gets, no nonsense, no lying. OLED is the king of anime gaming, or anime movies, like, period. Any anime, anything, OLED. OLED's gonna look absolutely fantastic, and that's just what it is. Now, when you're talking about, like, regular everyday stuff, like video games in general, like my wrestling games, or like Forza, I usually prefer, or like Nintendo Switch especially, I tend to prefer the QLED for that, because that is just so much more vivid and vibrant. It just depends, it really does. So that's just kind of my thing. And I see your correction here. You said, my apologies, I meant the E8. That's not a problem. I know what you meant, man. It's not a big deal. But yeah, it's hard, because it's like, they do a lot right, and they all have their weaknesses. So it's like kind of balancing that out is what gets rough. What's going on, SZilla81? Thanks for stopping by. You said, hey Q, C9 or A9G for streaming only and TV watching only. I'd go to the C9. The A8G is a total ripoff. I mean, like, an absolute total ripoff. They literally scaled you back on the remote just because they want you to buy the more expensive OLED. That alone, like, on principle, dude. Like, on principle. Not only that, but it's also dimmer by a substantial amount than what LG has produced, and it's less vivid. So you're losing more color. You're not getting a premium remote. I mean, like, it's just, you're losing. You're losing out the gate with Sony, and it's not worth it. What's going on? Will Dillinger, you said, tried the suggestions, but you're still having issues. Seems like jitter reduction is directly related to the artifact. You could try jitter reduction on 2, and then you can try turning your blur reduction off, and maybe that might work. What's going on, Matt George? You said, I'm pleased to hear you are well, buddy. Yeah, I'm pleased to be well too. This is actually like the first time in a while I've actually felt like 100% myself. So it's actually been a really rough 3 weeks for myself. Like, even right now, like, apparently I had some sort of nerve damage from the military that was residual that I didn't realize, and apparently that's what triggered my sickness and all that other nasty stuff. So right now they got me on like some weird anti-inflammatories and some steroids and some other stuff, and I'm just like not having it. I'm really bad. I should take my medicine, but I'm not doing that. I don't know. I'm that guy that kind of doubts the doctors too much, but yeah. Good to be well though. What's going on, Catch? Thanks for stopping by tonight, man. What's going on, Andrew? You said, I'm never updating my Sony TV ever. When I update my 930 to Oreo is when they released it and ruined it and ruined the Kodi app. You said I had to wait until Kodi updated itself. After that, I turned off my updates for good. Yeah, I don't like Sony's updates. Sony's updates are definitely the worst in the business. They literally go out of their way to destroy the TV. Like, for me, my wake-up call was the 930. Like, I went through so much hell, put my wife through so much hell, going back and forth, playing the panel lottery until we found the perfect 930E, and then it's just like they automatically update my stuff and then ruin my TV with that black flashing. Unbelievable. Like, so angry about that, even just remembering that. And then I get on the phone with Sony and explain the issue, and they say that's not a real thing, like that's never happened, all but calling me a liar. And then the guy on the phone had the audacity to raise his voice at me and yell at me like I'm some sort of child or something. Like, oh my god, that, and anybody that knows my personality knows, don't play alpha with me. Don't do that. That's a good way to get yourself in a lot of trouble. And it's just like, and that's what the guy was doing in a customer service role of all things, you know? You ever heard that person that like really just doesn't know, like they are not in any position to do anything? So naturally, what did I do? I called him back and every name in the book got thrown at him. Because like, it was great, because like apparently they only have like one guy in that office, and then I got that same office again. And I was like, where's your office located? And he said something like, someplace in Mexico or something. And I was like, bet. And so I freaking asked for the supervisor again, and once I heard it was that dude, bet that up, bro. I put that kid in his place. But I'll digress, because I get a little heated when we talk about rude people in customer service. I don't play that garbage at all, like at all. You know, because the thing is, they're being paid to do a job, and for them to be nasty while in a job, that, I mean, the conversation they're being paid to have, like, that's definitely where I lose my cool there. Now, we have questions coming in from Zelda. What's going on? You said, do TVs become obsolete? Mine's 11 years old and it's still working. I tell you what, man, TVs don't become obsolete until you don't want to use it. I mean, like, that's how I judge it. Like, if you're happy with it, you wake up every day with your 11-year-old TV, it's not obsolete. If it can still turn on, it can still watch the stuff that you want to watch and you like watching, not obsolete. Now, when the day comes that you decide to watch something that TV doesn't support, then you gotta upgrade. But until then, I mean, really, you're good. And pretty much anything with an HDMI port these days is pretty much good for the most part. So I think you should be fine. What's going on? Soldier 140. Oh, hold on, I skipped over a lot of comments because it keeps loading in, so just give me a second here. We've got Lewis. What's going on, man? You said, what would you choose, the 950G or the Q90R? Really did pick the two worst ones, didn't you, man? I mean, honestly, if it was me, like, talking to you like a friend, dude, I wouldn't pick either one of them. The reason being, the 950G has the worst blooming. Like, it's disgusting, like, unacceptable. But then the Q90R is just as bad in game mode. Like, in game mode, dude, like, it's gonna get terrible. I'll tell you what, Lewis, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go onto the Facebook page probably after the stream, and I'll put up pictures of the Q90R showing you the blooming. Like, it's as bad as you think it is. And also go to check out the 950G photo album on the Facebook page. I'm telling you, man, like, it's bad. That blooming is not something you want to be paying $1,200 for plus tax. They did not try this year, and I wouldn't give them the money, man. You'd be better off with the Hisense H9F or H8F, and I haven't even seen the H9F. That's how, like, confident I am that anything at this rate that I do would be better than what they just pumped out from Sony and Samsung. And Samsung has lowered their quantum dot saturation points this year, so they're basically, like, at the entry-level tier of TVs that don't even have quantum dot, like TVs like the TCLR 617. So, yeah, I wouldn't buy any one of those TVs. Like, they think that they can just say, oh, we have improved viewing angles, as if everybody's watching at 180 degrees or has wide living rooms. Like, it's not that deal. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't buy either one of them, man. Just honest talk. What's going on, Szilla81? You said, thanks for the info. Keep up the great work. I appreciate that, man. What's going on, Soldier 144? You said, hey, QA, based off of what you saw from the Hisense H8F, you said, would you recommend that over the 2018 Samsung Q6FN and the Hisense H9F? If it lives up to its specs, you think that would be the better purchase? Yeah, I think those two TVs would definitely be better than the Q6, because the Q6 has gray blacks, and the Hisense H8F does not. It's a really deep display, very colorful. It's a good TV for what it is. Yes, it's a budget TV, so it's not perfect, and you're not going to have some of the nicer features that you have, like, you know, obviously Bixby and like all that stuff, but it just depends on how you're using it too. So I would say yes, depending on use. What's going on? Andrew, what's going on? You said, exactly, Sony's customer service sucked. They keep avoiding problems. The same thing happened to me when, with Samsung when they sold me a faulty dishwasher. Yeah, dude, like, when I had, like, a similar experience, like, with my KS8000, I have, like, this little, it's like, I don't know what it's called, honestly. I'm still trying to find a term for it, but essentially it's like, you could see the LED light, just one little LED light. It's not a dead pixel or anything, but it's a little area where there's a little bright spot. It's not burning. I don't really know what it is. What is it, like LED burn? Like, I don't know, but you can see one little LED light come through the diffuser. And so it's just really distracting from time to time, depending on what I watch. And it's just like, ugh. And I tried to call them to do something with a warranty, and nada. So yeah, I hear you there, man. What's going on, Will? You said thanks for the info. Was hoping to find the perfect all-around settings, but seems like adjusting based on the content is best. Keep up the great work. Yeah, what I would recommend is, you know, just utilize all your picture preset options. Like, you watch anime, have those anime settings ready. Because, I mean, being real with you, I don't have a universal setting even as I speak. I do tend to go back and forth between tons of settings. So, Nintendo Switch is an entirely different animal, needs different calibrations. So is PS4 from Xbox. Like, they all have different contrast levels, and the machines accept information differently. And that's the problem with these source boxes. So, you know, that's kind of one of the things that goes with technology. What's up, Techie? You said just bought a Q8FN, and it already updated to 1260. Is there any way to go back? But I did get lucky and won the panel lottery. So I would say you should, I don't know, try to exchange it if you just bought one. You did win the panel lottery. If you don't see any problems after the update, then I would just take my stuff offline and never go back online again. But if you do see problems, just exchange it since you just bought one. What's going on, Lewis? You said, thanks, bro. I wasn't sure which one to pick, so I'll save my money for better stuff. Thanks for the feedback. Most definitely, man. Glad I was able to help you save a little money. What's going on, Paul? You said, when do you think 12-bit panels will finally be released, and what are the benefits aside from HDR? I think that you will be able to see them maybe in 2022, realistically, something really far out. And what do I think are the benefits? I think the color is the real big benefit, even in SDR, because when you have 12-bit color, it's the similar situation like when we went from 8-bit Rec 709, 16 million color displays up to the, 1 billion color 10-bit, quantum dot TVs we have today. Like, it's a big difference in color perception, and that's the big deal here. What's going on, Sammy Orta? Thanks for stopping by tonight. You said, what's up, Quantum? You said, still enjoying my Sony X930E. The new update has increased black levels and contrast ridiculously great. Hey, well, that's great. I personally wouldn't recommend updating a 930. You saw what happened to me, but if you're willing to take the chance, hey, power to you. You've got balls of steel, man. You're playing the dice with Sony like that. I'm telling you, dude, like, it's just a matter of time. And I'm honestly just warning you as a friend, dude. Sony is not the best when it comes to these updates. Neither are any of these manufacturers. Not to just dig on Sony. They all are trying to, like, de-optimize their displays. And I just want to kind of point you guys' attention to something just kind of quickly. Like, when you look at what happened with Samsung's phones, the water damage, Vizio with lawsuits with getting spied on, Samsung lawsuits getting spied on. None of these things are brought to the surface by your mainstream articles, your mainstream reporters, independent guys. Nobody brings that to the surface, and Samsung definitely is not going to announce it. So you're kind of having to sit there and, like, figure out all this stuff after the fact, that there are actually problems when they do something, like with Samsung announcing that, hey, doing a virus check is probably a good idea because if your device is on Wi-Fi, it could be hacked. So I think you guys got to be very careful when you're taking your chances with internet-based things and letting a company go in and alter something through software, because there's, of course, always that room that they can actually de-optimize your TV. You know what I mean? Now we've got Andrew. You said exactly Q, and then we've got Sammy Order. You said the last update seems to take away. This update brought things back. I don't know the PKG on that one, but I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying in general, just I wouldn't take the chance, because the 930, especially if you won the panel lottery, is such a hard TV to find these days. So I would be very careful with that. That's all I'm saying, man. That being said, I'm going to end this live stream. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by today and, being a part of the channel and all that good stuff. We're definitely going to be breaking out into gaming. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun going forward. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video.